On August 24th, Friday morning, there was an event that happened at the Empire State Building. Maybe you've seen that movie King Kong where the gorilla climbs all the way up to the top of the building? That's the one I'm talking about. Every year, about 4 million people go into the building and take the elevator up to the top to look at the skyline. It's a really tall building. It's about 1,442 feet tall. And there's always a bunch of traffic around the building. So what happened was Friday morning, a man named Jeffrey Johnson, he's 58 years old. He was a former worker at a women accessory company. They sold purses and scarves and all sorts of different accessories for women. The company was called Hanson Import. It was on West 33rd Street. The company had a lot of layoffs, and Jeffrey was laid off last year. And for the past year, he was building up with anger, feeling like the company should have sold more of his things to make a better profit. He had gotten in an argument with the vice president back in 2011 and filed a complaint, and the vice president and Jeffrey kept going back and forth, arguing over this issue. The vice president is named Stephen. He's about 41 years old. So Friday morning, people started lining up to go into the Empire State Building to take a look at the city from up top. The company was right next to the Empire State Building, and Jeffrey walked in with his normal clothes, everyday clothes on. And he walked in waiting for the vice president to show up. He had a 45 millimeter gun with him and more bullets in his pocket. He had bought the gun in Florida, where in Florida it's okay to have a gun as long as you have a certification. So Jess was waiting and waiting, talking. He didn't really say much, and then he took out his gun and started shooting. He fired several bullets and started heading east, or north. And all the workers saw people running and tried waving him down, telling him to stop him before he made it to the Empire State Building. There was security officers in front of the building. People were trying to get their attention to help so that they would stop Jeffrey from running. Two women approached him and he took out his gun and he shot them as well. Altogether, there were 16 people shot. And the man himself was shot as well. Jeffrey was. Now the police are doing investigations to see how many gunshots were actually taking place. When reports were first coming in, people were saying the police had accidentally shot some people nearby, but now we're seeing that the bullets had split and bounced off of plants or trees and were deflected and hit people. Some people were brought to the hospital but were able to go home that night, and a couple others had to stay for a few days, but then they were able to leave. Many people are wondering why Johnson was shooting and why he wasn't arrested. They're still doing investigations to figure out exactly what happened. Many people who knew him said he was a very nice man who loved animals, and they couldn't believe that he would do such a thing. The landlord said that he lived alone and that he would leave every morning at 8 a.m. And he didn't think anything of it that morning. Really, that Friday, this event caused a lot of trouble, and all the streets around the Empire State Building had to be closed. But later on, the building was opened, and more people were able to come in the building as normal.